Okay, hello and welcome to everyone, and welcome to today's program. It's a special program that we have for you, and we have guests with us today. And let us say hello to her. Good afternoon to you, Natisha Campbell. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Okay, folks, and you're located in St. Lucia, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so folks, it's exciting. Natisha, tell us who you are. Give us a little insight about who you are and why you are here with us today.
I am the OECS Visual Merchandising Manager. I am based in St. Lucia, and I am the person that makes you want to come into our business to shop, to have your homes looking as best as it can.
All right, that's one hell of a way to put it. And folks, so you heard it from her yourself. Now you know, and we've spoken about that before. That courts they're having their campaign right now. It's called Make Home Yours, and they want you to give your home that feel, give your home that look that makes it feel homey. So you're not just doing something for doing it, but doing it with purpose so that your home can feel as warm and welcoming as you feel when you step into courts. Correct?
Correct.
All right. So you're a designer, interior designer. You make things homey. You've been doing this for a number of years, and we were just talking about how you got into it. And I am curious, and I. Before we go into the depth of what we are going to be talking about today, talk to us about how you got into this field.
I grew up in a family of interior decorators, ranging from my grandfather, my aunts, even my father dabbled in it a bit. And I was really trying to run away from the family business. I ensured I went as far as possible, even trying to get into law, did a little political science there. And then I realized that you can't run away from your destiny. If it's your journey, you'll end up right back there. And so I started to help with the family business, running it on my own with another family member. And I wanted to move. So an opening was available at courts, and I applied for the job in corporate, and I was successful.
Well, congratulations to you. And how long have you been doing that for?
Well, I started back in about 2008 professionally, and then I joined Unicomer in 2012.
All right, great. So, Natisha, let's talk. Whether it is that we're just building a home, starting from scratch, or we have already have had things there, we would always want to know that that space that we call home is as homey as it can get. So there are things that one would need to consider in order for that to happen, and that's where you come in. I hand the floor over to you so that you can tell us what we need to do, how we need to do it, why we need to do it, when we need to do it.
Thank you so much. So I'll start by sharing my screen.
Okay. All right, so here comes the screen share, people, and I'm excited. And don't forget, if you have questions, you can type your questions in the chat section so that we can share with our guests for today. All right, go ahead, Natisha.
Thank you. So I'm here with Design Tips with Tish. I go by Tish. Now, when you're in your home or whatever space that you have, you want to ensure that you know your design styles. So a lot of customers may come into our business and they're looking for a particular bedroom set, or they're looking for a living room suite, but they're not quite sure what speaks to them. So I often try to introduce what we sell. We have a mix of traditional furniture, we have a mix of contemporary, and we have a mix of traditional. So on my screen here, we have traditional furniture. We find that a lot of returning residents and older or mature audience, they're in the preference of traditional furniture. So on the screen, you'll see a lovely love seat, rounded arms, embezzled with studs around the feature, very zhuzh bougie, and the color is very rich. It's a jewel tone red. So oftentimes with traditional furniture, the fabric is very luxe, it's very vibrant, it looks very rich in texture. So that's what you'll find with traditional. And the suites, or the design is usually very voluptuous. Think of a curvy woman if you are supposed to consider furniture.
Okay.
Details are very ornate, very very meticulous in design. So here it says, what is your design style, whether traditional, transitional, or contemporary? And we just touched on traditional. So apart from traditional, we have transitional. So with transitional furniture, you have, it's almost as if it's the baby of traditional and modern furniture.
It's
So you
middle way.
have, go ahead,
Okay, so you say it's like the baby between the transitional, the traditional and the
traditional
modern.
and the modern.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And what I mean by this is that you have elements of traditional, but then you'll have elements of the modern. So you'll still have rounded features. You may still also have a curvature, because remember I was saying traditional furniture is very voluptuous usually. So you'll have that, but it's more sleek. So the rounded arms may not be overly emphasized, but you'll have some curving detail. The colors are still very vibrant, but they may not be as textured. So it's almost like the sleek version. When two good looking people have a baby, what's the best version? That's what I consider with transitional. So you have the history of traditional with those sleek elements, and then you're moving into modern, right? So here it says you have light wood tones. Furniture also has curved lines, which is coming from traditional, and it also has straight lines. So if you look at the legs of that chair, the legs go down quite straight. And then you have modern, for a modern design style. So when it comes on to a modern design style, think of monochromatic, and monochromatic meaning one color tone. So think of your beige, your cream, your off-whites, your grays. Think of sleek lines, straight lines. Think of reflective furniture. Sometimes you may see a lot of glass, you may see a lot of mirrors, very neutral tones. So if you take a vibrant tone and you wash it out to its lightest version, you get a neutral tone. You also have nice, shiny, glossy finishes. But when you think of modern design styles, you want to think of less is more. On the traditional range, you want to think of a lot of product, a lot of accessories, a lot of things going on in the area. But with modern, less is more. The less you have, the more sleek it comes together. You're having things that are designed for function along with style. So you don't buy just for buying sake. If it doesn't have any function within the area that is being used, it's unnecessary. It wouldn't fall within the modern design style.
Okay. And you've spoken of those three styles, but I'm thinking when you're deciding what you want to make your home, let's say part of your home, your living room, are you advising against mixing the styles?
Oh no, I would never advise against mixing the styles, because you have also what is called eclectic, where you put a little bit of what works for you. So
Okay.
I love an eclectic style. If I like that and it speaks to my soul and spirit and it works in my place, I'm going to have it. So I don't stick to one particular design style. But some people just like to have a theme running through. They're very traditional, so they'll go with everything that's traditional. So that theme runs through. But then you have people like me who like a bit of difference from each design style.
All right. And I never knew I never knew that there was a style that speaks to me until now. And I would say I'm more on the modern side of things. When I was building my home, I just didn't like too many colors. So I tend to go for the lower tones. So, and the builders, they were probably they were not accustomed to that kind of, you know, so they were not
Yes.
happy that I say, hey, I want my floor to be gray, flat, not no glossy look with shiny tiles, because I think that looks over there.
Over there.
You know, I think it looks, and as you said, washing down the colors, the richer colors, and washing it down to a more monotonous tone. That is what comes out of a modern style.
Yes.
And when I check it out, that's what I like. And probably something in a smaller area that kind of contrasts to lift the monotones a little bit. How do you call that? Is it still, does that fall in the line of still monotone, or once you start putting contrast, it turns into something else?
Well, you can contrast with the same tone, and if you do that, then it falls within the line of monotone because mono or mono means one. So it can work. You could use the natural color, which is the original color, and then we're going to actually go into that with tints and tones, where you would add a bit of gray and still be within that area of color, but get a different look. Or you could add a bit of white, or you could even add a bit of black to get a shade, but
Okay.
you're all within that same color family, and that would be using it to do a contrast.
Ah, okay. Well, I'll let you go back to your program. As you say, we're going to be going into the tints and so on in a bit. So I'll go right ahead. I hope you don't mind if I interject again. You
Oh,
know,
please do.
as you go ahead, as you go along.
Thank you.
No problem. So, folks, we are speaking with Natisha Campbell. She's located in St. Lucia. She sets up her screen share, and it's called Design Tips with Tish, as she tells us how we can best outfit our homes to make it homier.
Okay, so let's jump into our colors. So this is your color wheel, and it has a range of colors. You're seeing cool colors on one side, which stems from the purples all the way back to the greens, and then you have warm colors on the other side, stemming from your red going into your yellows. Now, when you're thinking about decorating your space, you want to think of what colors make you feel most comfortable and relaxed in the space, if that is the type of emotion you're trying to evoke. Some people like to feel really excited in a place, while on the other hand, some people just want a relaxed mind, especially after a long day at work. So when you realize what color you like, you look on this color wheel, which you could easily Google and just look up color wheel, and then you'll see the range of colors. Now, when you go into a space and you see a color palette on the wall or on the furniture, you try to acknowledge how that makes you feel. Sometimes you'll just walk into a space and you naturally realize that you feel more calming. Like, probably you go into a space and it's very blue. So that blue reminds you of water, which is very tranquil and calm. Or you may go into a restaurant and the color on the wall is red, and red actually activates your senses and makes you more hungry. So if you go into a restaurant and you weren't hungry before and you see red on the wall and you start to feel hungry, know that that color is now activating your emotions.
Oh, wow. I didn't
No.
know that. Okay.
Yes, it does. So it's very important. So you've decided on the color and then you're going to put it in your home, right? Now, the color might be very, very loud, and that's not something that you necessarily want. So cool colors, as I said before, makes you feel more relaxed. You might find them in nurseries. You might find them in doctors' offices. And warm colors, I had mentioned before, like red evokes hunger. Now, brands use a lot of colors to represent who they are. For example, Digicel. Digicel is that very bright, vibrant red, almost like a stop sign. And when you see the color red, it makes you stop in your tracks. So even outside of your home, when you're thinking about a business, what color do you want to associate with your brand for people to have a reaction? What kind of reaction do you want them to have? So if you're opening a spa, think of your cooler colors like your greens and your blues. But if you're opening a restaurant, you could think of vibrant colors like oranges and reds and even yellow. So we don't really want that bright color. Sometimes you see a lot of vibrant colors on people's homes, and the thought may come to mind, boy, did they get that paint free? Why is that color so loud? It's something that they may like, but it may not be something that you would like. In a situation like that, I often tell customers and clients, do not run away from that color because you could easily add another color to it, still be within the color family, and get the desired feeling that you want. For example, tints. If you look on the screen, you'll see the original color to your left. But if you continuously add white, it changes into a more softer palette, which is easier to use. You had a question, Mikey?
Go ahead, go ahead. I'll go. I'll after you finish that segment, I'll ask the question.
No offense to the pre-paint. No offense there.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
And then if you are someone that really wants to stick to the color, but you want it more on the darker range, you could add gray and you get a tone of the color. Still within the family, but not the original color. And if you want to even change it up a bit and go even darker, you could add black. So if you look here, we have a neutral palette, which Mikey was saying he realized that he would fit naturally into that. So on the screen, you have a variations of creams, beiges, green. Even there's a little mustard, a little brown, even grange, which is like a green and a gray put together. So you can take almost any color, either add white, add gray, or add black, stay within the family, and you're neutralizing all of that. You're muting down the color. So don't be afraid of color because you could always change it to satisfy you.
Nice. I see. And before you go further, if we may stick a pin just a bit because I see you have another slide on there to come. Right. Again, you have to, in order to love, you must first love yourself. In order to love someone else, you must first love yourself. So in order to explore all of these things, you must explore yourself to understand what it is that you like, what it is that works better for you and your emotions. Understand who you are where color is concerned, because you're explaining this, and it falls right into me. Yeah, your previous slide with the lighter tones and so on, I could identify little bits of things that I put into my space without knowing that this is defined under a particular group. So it's good to know yourself because it makes life easier for you. It would have taken me a long time to choose things, colors and all of that to get into what it looks finally. But if I knew this before, what you're explaining now, probably I could have shortcut the whole process and get exactly to the end of what I really wanted. And that is why conversations like these, again, thank you to Quartz, are necessary. Get the experts to kind of like to entice you to stimulate your mind where those things are concerned. Now to the colors. You spoke about, and it was just recently I saw a house with a lot of colors. Red, green, yellow. One room. Red, green, yellow, pink, orange. Another room. What kind of emotion would that kind of color environment evoke in someone?
So it's highly dependent on the individual. If you're of a more relaxed mind, you definitely would not be having a lot of colors within your space because your home should be your oasis. And again, colors have an effect on our natural emotion. Sometimes you go into a space and you just want to fall asleep. You feel so relaxed. And sometimes you may go into another space and you feel so agitated and irritated. It highly has to do with color.
Okay, with the
Yes.
colors. So someone who wants to just a little piece, something more calm from the busy schedule, busy life out there, you shouldn't you shouldn't endeavor to have a lot of colors into your home space.
Not of vibrant color scheme, unless you're going to mute them as before by adding white, or you're adding gray to neutralize it to make them more calming, because a wash of color is beautiful. You will often notice that in nurseries where children's eyesight are still developing, so they won't have a lot of bright colors. And babies are often loud and chaotic and noisy, and you want to bring a sense of calm into their spirit and being. And so you'll have a lot of neutral tones in that space. So you have to consider yourself and love yourself as you would a newborn. How do I want to feel when I am in that space? Do I want to be calm? Do I want to be relaxed? Or do I want to be excitable? Because if you look around a playground, those colors are usually vibrant and there are many, because children are in the action of play. So they're in the action of movement as well. But
Okay.
if you are a fan of a color, as I said before, don't shy away from it, but you can always navigate around it by adding other colors to mute the tone or even make it more vibrant.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So you could go ahead.
So when I was saying about our colors, you have to know how to use your colors. Now, we have this rule in interior design that color in your room is made up of 100%, but you break down the 100% into three. So 60% of the space should be the main color. Then 30% should be your secondary color, and then 10% your accent color. So when you talk about 60% being your main color, you're thinking about your walls, because that would be the most color that you have in a space, and also your bigger furniture. So if you're thinking about a living room space, you're thinking about your living room suite. And if you're thinking about your bedroom, not only the wall, but you're thinking about your bed frame, your dresser, your chest of drawers, your night table, if those are elements that you use within the space. And then the 10%, as it says, the accent color, you're thinking about your accessories. So what I'm thinking of is your tabletop accessories that you put out. I'm also thinking about your artwork, and I am even thinking about your rug. So it's very easy. So you may go into a space and you say, boy, I like this, but I don't know what to put with it. Think about the 60-30-10 rule. So in this photo, you'll see that in effect. So we're seeing the most dominant color in the picture being green, right? And then directly after green, you're seeing shades of pink. And then after that, the most minimal color would be yellow. So it's three elements, 60 being the most, 30 in the middle, and then 10 being the least. It takes away all the brain games, all the indecision. Pick three colors and use them in this way, and you can create magic.
Oh, okay. And you can go around any room in your homes and apply this rule, or in specific rooms.
Any room whatsoever, any room. So around this time of year, when we're gearing up for Christmas, everyone from your growing up, especially in the Caribbean, your parents usually change out the curtain. Sometimes they change out the living room suite. They buy new bed sheets. They even paint the walls. So if you're one that wants to save money, say you're redesigning your bedroom, but you don't want to paint over your walls, what you could do, the paint on the wall would be your 60%. you choose a 30% color. So that 30% would be your bed sheets, because your bed frame, your bed would be the biggest piece of furniture in that room. So you would change out your comforter sets, your bed sheets, the colors of the cushions on the bed. That would be your 30%, right? And then when it comes on to your accessories, you could change out some of the accessories on your dresser or your chest or your nightstand. So you're still incorporating different elements and colors, but you're still saving some money.
I got you. Got you. All right.
So if we go back to how to most effectively use color, if you look on the screen, let me bring it back up. I have some really vibrant colors that's coming up. And they may not be to your liking. However, it's only to prove a point. So in this room, you'll see you have lavender or purple on the walls. And you also see a very rich traditional purple accent chair, and also a very rich living room piece, the sofa. But you also see other colors like orange, right? And then you also see green. So the orange is the most minimal color in the room. So that would fall within the 10%. And then after that, you have your greens. So apart from the ceiling and the few cushions that are on the purple suite, you also have your drapery, and you also have the green in a very large floral decoration. That's to the side. But then the purple that's on the wall pops out, and that very rich jewel tone purple is on the sofa and also on the accent chair. Now, if you're designing your own space for Christmas, you could do something like cream walls, right? And then you could do, it's Christmas, so it's festive. You could do something like gold drapes with a cream share. And then for your living room piece, you could do a neutral tone. So whatever we have within our cord stores that you say, boy, I really, really like, you could just add that in there. And then from those two colors that you have on the wall or within the curtains, you could add as a cushion. And then for your accessories, you pull another color in that you'd like to add to the space. So you have three main colors working with to make your room come together. So in the photo, it says the 60% would be your walls, your rugs, and your furniture. And then your 30% would be your curtains, ceilings, and cushions. In the Caribbean, we mostly paint our ceiling like one color. You don't often have people painting their ceiling a different color. So you could just think of your 30% as your curtains and your cushions. And then as your accent, that's the pieces that you want to pull in, like your artwork and the tabletop accessories. So the things that you're seeing on the coffee table, or sometimes you may have another piece on your side tables, which are the little tables to the side of your sofa. Sometimes you may have a picture frame, you may have a little floral arrangement, you may have something decorative to bring some spice into the area. That's what you're thinking of. And if you look directly above it, it has a full range of colors, which is again is your color wheel. You have your warm colors, and then you also have your cool colors. Now, this is quite helpful. You could also print out one of these color wheels when you're shopping, so you could put together the colors that you most like or you want within your space. And again, don't neglect the fact that your colors play a very important part in how you feel within the space. It can make you feel calm, it can make you feel relaxed, it can make you feel excitable, it can even make you feel agitated. So when you go home, if you're not at home already, go into a room and think about how that space makes you feel. If you don't feel any way and you just feel normal, maybe it's time to change out that room, change out the elements, come down at courts, look at our living room suites, look at our cushions, look at our Christmas decorations. Whatever it is that you may need to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm in a place of solace. I love this particular room. Because in almost every household, there's one room that we love. Some people, it's their kitchen. They love their kitchen. Some people, it's their bedrooms. Whilst others, it may just be their living room space. Now, when you go into that particular room that you love, look at the elements that make you feel the way you do, and you could incorporate those elements in other areas of your home. So you could move that into your bedroom, you could move that to the patio, you could move that to the kitchen. So you no longer have one favorite space, but your entire home becomes your oasis because you have now found the elements that work specifically and speaks to your soul, because there's no right and wrong way when it comes to design. It is exactly how you feel within the space that you have created for yourself.
Well said. And I'm looking at that one there, and your description, and so this last graphic on the screen, that one tough on me. Uh, so many colors there. And while you were explaining the 60, 30, 10, I noticed the sofa. Is it a sofa? It's a little small. The
Yes.
orange, the orange.
The
What's
orange
that?
the orange one is the love seat. It's smaller than the sofa.
It's smaller than the sofa, but it's what I
Yes.
see most. So when considering the 60, 30, 10, does, what should I say, the vibrance of the color take into consideration? Because although it may fall, so this I'm guessing is gonna fall within the 10, is it?
It falls within the 10 because it's the most minimal color that's used within the space. So
Minimum.
although as in it's the least used color out of the three. We're not considering the elements of white or the gold frame that is around the coffee table.
Right.
The three colors that you mostly would see in the space, if you're doing a quick glance, would be the purple, would be the orange, and it would be the green.
Right.
And if you measure all three, the orange would fall at the end because it's the least used. No, very good question in regards to that orange. No, the 10 doesn't have to be the most vibrant. The 10 is when you're decorating your space and you're going, something is missing. What should I add? That 10% is what you should add. So it could be, it's usually your artwork, like what you put up on your wall, whether it's the mirror, the clocks, a graphic painting, a canvas painting, a metal design element that is artistic. That is your 10%, and your tabletop accessories. So you may, back in the days, we used to call it figurine. Now it's called accessories. Those things that you put on your coffee table and your side table. That is your 10% that makes up the 100% in your design.
Okay, got you. Well, quite a lot explained to us today. Do you have any more to share with us before we call it a wrap on the program for today?
Well, make home yours. As simply as our promotion states, you have to make your home yours. After you work those long hours, at the end of the day, you want to come home to your personal palace. Now, we have wonderful products here at Quartz to suit every one of your needs. And we also have our hire purchase plan. So don't worry about the money. We are here for you. We have a plan to suit you. And because it's Christmas, coming into Christmas, we call this our peak season. So you'll find the best furniture and appliance that you normally wouldn't see throughout the year. Yes, we have our core products, but we have select pieces that only come into our stores during this time of the year. So I invite you down to our court stores. Have a look, browse, shop around. We have great and fantastic deals in almost every single category. Look at the pieces that speak to you and make a plan to get them today. Thank you for joining Design with Tish, and I'm here for you anytime you need me.
Tish, that's reassuring. It's been a really good conversation, understanding that colors matter, the way you do the colors, it really matters. So I'm happy that we had this conversation today. I know that for the people online, they really appreciated our interaction and the content that you provided today. So I'm hoping that now they can go down to courts and probably they will have some more questions when they go to court, see what it is that is there, and now having to find the right way of fitting what it is that they got into courts into the homes. It might just take a little painting on the wall, maybe a little accessory to fall within the 60-30-10 rule, you know, not too many colors, people, not too many colors here, there, and everywhere. I think before we used to just get things, but in this modern times, we need to be a little more purposeful. We need to be a little more deliberate in how we outfit the rooms that's within our permanent space, you know, in the morning, in the nighttime when we come home, just that you feel a little better and it becomes a little more welcoming for you. You might be surprised there, Tish, that it could just be the color that keeps you uneasy when you come home from work. It might just be that, the color of your bedroom, the color of the walls. Sometimes we have colors, and even that too. Sometimes our taste changes over time and we don't realize that. So something that once we loved before, we were probably growing out of it. And you need to know when that time has come and even change things up a bit.
That is true. You have to be mindful and demure in your choices. So when you go into spaces, if you find you have a self of welcoming feeling, look around, look what you like within that space and take that element and bring it within your own home.
Tish, it's been a pleasure. Thank you again, and
Thank you so
all the
much.
best. All the best. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the individual and her team that takes care of the look that you go at when you go to courts and you see everything put together nicely. They sit down and they deliberately. It's not just you just wash everything in there and just say, you know, put that in, put that. No, it's done with purpose, with intent and purpose. And so that's the brain and her team that's behind that. So of course, you know, she knows what she's saying. And of course, it was a pleasure having her. I know you have a busy schedule. It was hard getting you. I know you have a busy schedule. So thanks again for spending that time with us.
Thank you so much. It has been my pleasure.
Okay, and all the best to you.
Take care.
All right, bye. All right, folks. So Tish has given us a whole lot of information to work with. It is now up to you to take what you've learned today and put it into good use. All right, that's free information for you right there. You're not going to get that anywhere else. Yes, so I hope to see you the next time I go down to courts. I hope to see you there and we can talk some more as well. And if you need some more tips, more information on making that right selection and making it fit perfectly within your home, feel free to talk to one of the courts reps. They can also get some expert advice for you. That's what they're there for. All right, so make home yours. For this time in this season, make home yours. Let's be a little more deliberate. My name is Mikey Hutchinson. This has been a special program brought to you by Courts. Do have yourselves a good day.